Hey everyone, welcome back. It's 1st of September today. So summer is officially not over yet, but it definitely feels like it's over. Yesterday we had a rainy day, and it's definitely cooler now. Although it's supposed to get up to 80 today and then mid 80s tomorrow, so summer is not over yet. We're still gonna have some nice warm days, and then it's gonna be in the 70s. So we're enjoying this cool down a little bit. We finally got some rain, so that brought some temperature and brought some moisture to the soil, to our ground here. Definitely felt nice. We haven't had any rain for, I don't know, probably a good month and a half, if not more. Uh, we have been working in our garden planting the fall and winter garden, and I want to take a minute today and show you what we have planted. I know summer is not done yet, but if you haven't planted your fall and winter crop yet, right now would be a good time. So getting out there and getting that planted is a perfect time right now. You can still get some starts in stores that you can plant them, although a lot of stores are stopping the sales of them. So maybe you'll be left with only seeding what you can seed directly in the ground for now, but something is better than nothing. So let's go out there and plant some vegetables together. I also want to show you what we got delivered to us. We got some fresh wood chips delivered to us a couple days ago. Our neighbor was cutting some trees down, so that worked out pretty well. We were thinking of getting some wood chips to add to our soil over here in the back and the front. I'll show you a little bit about that, how we do that process, but we utilize a lot of wood chips in our garden beds as a soil amendment. It's a great way to feed the soil, have a good healthy soil, as well as the uh, chips will keep the moisture in the soil as well. So good option to do that if you haven't done that. There's a method called back to Eden garden method that utilizes wood chips, and we highly recommend it. We've been doing it for a few years now. But let me get back and show you what we planted and how it's doing. All right, so bed number one, we have cabbage growing in here that we planted from the starts, and it's doing actually really well. I'll let that car pass so it's not as loud, but cabbage is doing really well in this garden bed right here. This is green cabbage, and we have some plants that are growing. And then right in here, right under these hoops, if you remember, I talked about seeding salad mixes, salad greens. So they have sprouted and everything's out. These corners have onions, which is taking a while for it to sprout. I'm not seeing any onions yet. So that usually takes a little bit longer, as well as this corner here. Same story with this. And then this bed, second bed here on this line, we have beads. You know, I tried spreading these seeds. I always tell my wife, why are you planting them so close? Why can't you just spread them more evenly? So I've been trying to do that, but look at this. They're just, I don't know why there's so many of them. And there's another row. I thought I just put like a couple beads here, unless there were other beads already in there, which I really doubt it because it's straight in line. So it's probably mine doing. But the good thing about beads, let me tell you what's good about beads though, is that you can take these little plants, we'll let them mature a little bit, few more weeks or so, and when they're a little bit bigger, and you can replant them, and they're gonna do just fine. So having them so close together, not ideal, but it's manageable, and you can replant them. We have another variety of beads that you can see sprouting here. I have a whole bunch of stuff that sprouted in this bed. I have no idea what it is actually. This compost was used from our garden, and obviously there was flowers growing in this bed, so I'm thinking there's probably a lot of things that are growing in here that are just, yeah, this looks like it's just flowers, which not a big deal. As soon as the fall weather kicks in and it gets a little colder, all of this stuff that's that's annual, it'll just die off, so that's gonna be fine. Anyways, bed number two, we have more cabbage. This is red cabbage. We have 6 plants in here, and you can see the soil right here that I'm talking about. So this is composted wood chips. There's still some wood chips in here. as you can see, but then there's a lot of this stuff that's been composted, and it's just pure soil, and everything just grows really, really well in it. So I'll show you a little bit, I'll talk about it, how we do it, and what we do to make this soil happen. Anyways, this second bed here, or third bed here, we still have our carrots growing, which I haven't pulled, and I'll be pulling those probably today. And then I will have watermelon radish in this bed. Haven't planted that yet, so that's left. Then in this corner here, I have broccoli that's growing. We have 6 or 7 plants of two different types of broccoli, and then we have kale that's growing. This bed here, same kale right there. We have beets that are growing that need to be harvested, and then I already got cauliflower that's going to be going into this bed right now today, so that will be planted. And then we have the last corner here of this bed. We have planted deacon radish, or daikon radish, I don't know how you correctly say it, but whichever way it is. And you can see it's already sprouting here. We got little sprouts coming out here. There's a couple out there. There's somewhat over there. But the deacon radish, if you ever planted this or never grown it, it gets pretty big. I mean, I got some before that it's about 8 inches, I mean, a foot or longer in length. So this is what we have in this bed, in this garden here. This is our kind of a front of the house, which I've been trying to clean up and get everything ready. For winter, you can see we added a ton of this soil that I want to talk about a little bit and show you how we process this. Okay, so what you see behind me is basically the front of our house here as you enter into our driveway. Let me spin around here. So this is our driveway right there, and this is to the side. Kind of, we have this plot that I'm turning into a garden. Used to be a forest here. Not a forest, but just unmanaged trees, and it overgrew everything, so we cut that down a few years back. And what we've been doing is adding wood chips to this area, but we let them compost here and then remove them and use them in the garden beds. That pile that you see behind me, that's fresh wood chips that we have just gotten 2 days ago, and I will show you what we have on the ground here and what we do with it. So if you look at this at the top, or in the beginning here, you can see that this is just plain wood chips, right? I mean, all it is just wood chips. But if you look back, let me walk back here and just look at this ground. When you start digging into it, look at this soil underneath it, and it's just perfect for planting. So what we did with this, how we achieved and got this, is we got some fresh wood chips. We had them on a pile just like you see them right behind me here, and we let them compost for a year in that pile, and then we spread them everywhere on the ground here. And the reason we did that is we just wanted to cover this so we can plant things into it. But now, since we got some more fresh ones and I'm not planting anything into it, I'm just taking this out and adding this layer, you know, a good 6-inch to a foot layer that we have here, and I'm adding that to our beds in the garden, and then I'll be spreading the new stuff and letting that compost here. So it's important to let the wood chips compost a little bit, because what will happen is if you don't let it compost and break down, and look at this, we got a plant, we got a tree that got seeded from all of our fir trees here. There's a lot of these little trees throughout. You can see the baby trees, and you can actually salvage them, plant them, and have a ton of trees that you can replant throughout your yard as well. Anyways, as going back to what I'm saying about the wood chips, is that you want to get them composted. You want to get them composted, otherwise a lot of the nitrogen that's in the ground, it will be absorbed and used up for breaking up the wood, the fresh wood that's in the trees. Also, if you can get the trees during the summer, spring, or early fall, when leaves are still on them, especially the trees that are that have leaves on. It will help that breakdown process, because all that nitrogen that has that's in the greens, it will speed up and warm up this pile. I mean, if you let this pile sit like this for a couple days or a week or so, you will see how it starts just basically steam coming out of it. It'll just heat up and start composting. While when it does that, it will compost, and it will break up the smaller wood chips. The larger wood chips will remain longer, and just a combination of everything will feed the soil and give the soil lots of nutrients. So it's a great method to use as cover for the ground for your gardens. If you haven't tried it, I suggest that you do give it a try and find some wood chips. You don't have to let them, you don't have to get as many. You can get a smaller load and compost them in your just a regular composter. So there's, depending on your situation where you're at, you can kind of make it work for either way. But this is called Back to Eden method, Back to Eden garden method, and it's a great method to do gardening. We have been using it for probably, I want to say 6, maybe 7 years now, and we highly recommend it. It's no cost. I don't know how many truckloads of wood chips I have added to our garden beds, and we still, the soil still drops, and we still keep on adding it every year. Let me go back and show you another garden, what we have over there where our tomatoes are, as well as some other plants that are growing there. We had to plant some cabbage in there as well. We'll probably be planting some carrot seeds in there for the fall garden, since we have some space, and seeing what else we can plant in there. Okay, so the last part is our garden here that we have in the yellow, or we call it yellow garden, but we have cucumbers here. Our summer crops are still going, so we don't have much planted for the fall and winter, but some areas we did plant some stuff. In this row we have more cabbage that's growing, and a couple different varieties. We have some green, and then further down some red variety. Like I said, mostly here we have our summer crops still happening. We have some bell peppers, still have some green beans that are coming in, cucumbers, more cucumbers here. We'll need to pick them, and then I have some seeds that I need to spread, that we just spread them out for the winter as well. Throughout, our raspberries are here, but our tomatoes are doing very well this year. I mean, just look at those giants. I'm loving this variety here. It's the pineapple variety, and it produces enormous amount with enormous size of tomatoes. This is a different variety though, the red kind. So we still need to pick them and let this crop finish up before the winter time comes in. And there's our little chickens and ducks. All right, everybody, well, thank you for watching our channel. Subscribe, and we'll show you what's happening here in a little bit. Next couple of videos will be probably ending up, our tomatoes will be coming to an end, clearing up some of the gardens, adding wood chips to these piles, as well as other methods that we're going to be utilizing and improvising and doing some more work around the house. We got some plans that are going to be non-gardening, more of a landscaping, as well as some of the remodel project that we're still working on. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.